Evening, everybody. It is a day for celebration, although I can't speak very loudly. I would love to scream at the top of my voice, but unfortunately, I simply can't. A very, very late night last night. Very exciting night. Topped off with a little bit of man flu, but, you know, we won't let that... well, it has taken over my life, actually, but, you know, just unbelievable. The scenes at St. James's Park before the game and after the game are simply things that I will never forget. You know, the camaraderie with the fans, everybody just you know, high-fiving each other, and smoke bombs going outside of Shearer's Bar, and people on other people's shoulders dancing and singing, and oh my God, I mean, it just... scenes that I haven't seen since really the takeover and a long time before that. Roadblock, thank you very much for a 20 quid super chat straight off the bat. Thank you, mate. He says, get in. I tell you, top 4 at the start of the season. Eddie Ball is streets ahead of the rest. Eddie is streets ahead of the rest. This is just the start of the dream. Wait till we really get stuck in, buzzing for all of us. Jack, I mean, how are you feeling today after last night? Because it really wasn't about the football, was it?
No, it wasn't. I mean, I woke up, went on my phone, looked on Instagram, people talk, or Twitter, sorry, loads of Champions League celebrations, and I just sat back, took a deep breath, and thought, right, we're doing it now. We've done it. Let's go. Let's go again now. Let's go again. I know the season's not done yet, but let's be honest, it really, really is. I don't think the game against Chelsea really matters now, because we've achieved what we want to achieve. We've done it, and Chelsea for me is another training game to play the players who aren't really going to be involved. But it felt so surreal last night. I think I nearly shouted my street down because of how loud my voice was. I woke up this morning, the same as you, Paul, was quite tired from the celebrations last night, but we're here now. There's going to be probably regular now, and we need to get used to it, because we are 2-0. We're Newcastle United, we're in the Champions League, and Europe better be ready.
I mean, Billy, obviously you and Alex did the commentary last night. I mean, how do you feel today about it? Because what I did notice in the ground last night was just how emotional some people were. You know, especially during the lap of honour. Just the connection that those players have got with us fans now, and the owners as well. You know, half time, you know, the chairman coming on to do the Fun 8-8 challenge, you know, along with me, Dad, and Jamie Rubin, was just outrageous. I've never seen anything like it. So, sum your feelings up today.
It was all, and still is to a certain extent, pretty surreal. The actual 90 minutes itself was a surreal game of football. I thought I've never seen one just as one-sided as that in my born days, and had the potential where we could have lost it at the very end. The war flag display at the beginning was absolutely sensational.
Oh God!
The planning that went into that stand with the squad on it, the planning alone, God, and have everything in the right place, and the old badge at the Gallagate end, it was just phenomenal. It really was. It was just phenomenal, all from start to finish, and it was surreal, and it didn't quite sink in, and it still hasn't to a certain extent. It sunk in today when I went to work, and the Liverpool fans were like, "Oh, not very happy."
Yeah, I've seen some rather salty Liverpool fans, but on the other hand, I've seen some of the other fans, you know, saying well done and things like that. So, especially West Ham, which is very interesting. They've been very complimentary, which is nice to see. Geordie boy, thank you for your £5 super chat. He says, "Is everybody happy?" I think ecstatic more than happy, mate. Yeah, I think it's incredible feeling at the minute. Jake Shearer says, "Still, every time I watch the celebrations, it brings a tear to my eye. I've been through so much with this club, and you could see just how much it meant to everyone." Alex, Billy mentioned the Nick Pope save at the end there. I mean, I was right behind that. And, as the sort of minutes ticked by, Leicester began to have, loads of possession, and you just thought this would be typical Newcastle United here to concede. But that's just how good Nick Pope is. He has literally nothing to do the full game and then comes up with a save like that at the end.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this earlier on in the season, though. Even when we had a funny run of form, that early Palace game where Willock had that funny disallowed goal that shouldn't have been. There was a cluster of games in that sort of part of the season where Pope was making some really important 85, 90-minute saves, 90th minute saves. I think he won save of the month as well, sort of around that time. And we mentioned it at that sort of period of the season, and we know he's got that in his locker. So he's a sweeper keeper plus that. If he can improve his sort of footwork a little bit and his kicking, there aren't many keepers around that are much better than him, because he's not a complete package, but he's very strong in a good number of areas as a goalkeeper, and one of the best in the league for sure.
I mean, the thing is, he can still improve as well. I think that's the thing about everybody. Nick Pope won't be thinking he's the finished article either. But my God, I mean, when we need him the most, he stepped up to the plate last night, and that one save literally puts us in the Champions League, Jack.
Honestly, my heart skipped a beat. When, even in the future, that'll go down as a in history, that save, because ultimately that save got us guaranteed us Champions League. Let's be honest. I know we might have done the job at Chelsea, but that save alone, I think my heart skipped a beat when I saw that shot, and I don't know what happened. I don't know how the Leicester player got a shot off because of how many Newcastle players are around him. But Nick Pope was absolutely class. Yeah, like you said, Paul, nothing to do all game. Comes out with a save, and that will go down in history of Newcastle United. Nick Pope was class.
I mean, obviously, Billy, it's been the season, and of course we'll do our season review next week after the Chelsea game when the league's all done and dusted. But Nick Pope has been one of those that has stood up the plate more times than not. Yes, he's made a couple of mistakes, as everybody has. But, I mean, just seeing the players last night and how much it meant to them to qualify for the Champions League. We got nervous that last 10, 15 minutes of the game. There was a nervousness in the crowd as well. But it was understandable. We didn't know whether to hang on to the ball or boot it up the field. Sometimes the whole play just stopped, Billy. It just stopped dead. I think Cher stopped with the ball for around 2 minutes.
It was a massive prize we were playing for, one that we never thought, really, that we thought we were going to be competing for at the beginning of the season. But I just want to say, this season I've probably seen more Newcastle United minutes than ever before. I think the only game I've missed anything of was the Palace game in the Carabao Cup, where obviously there was no kind of ways of watching the game. But we've covered every single game on here apart from that, and this channel alone, we've had every commentary, every minute of every game virtually. It's been a massive adventure we've been on, and I've felt part of it from 230 miles down the road without actually managing to see the lads this year. It's just been a massive adventure, and it's been a fantastic one, and one we'll never forget, because it's been the start point to something that's going to be really special in the future. I think as Kevin Keegan used to say, we're going to go on some adventures, and I think we're going on some adventures from now.
Oh, 100%. Zishan, thank you for your 1999 super chat. He says, effing get in there. Champions League, here we come. It took me 10 minutes for my heart rate to come down after that Pope save. Ian Fleming, thank you for your £5 super chat. He says, can't wait for the Champions League draw. That is when it will hit home that we are in it. Alex, I did a video earlier on today, just sort of just saying that it still felt very, very surreal. And I think it will do to a lot of fans until that night that St. James's Park plays the Champions League theme. We all thought they might have been played last night, but then I found out that they're not allowed to. So that they couldn't play it. But there was a couple of lads went past us with a big megaphone and had the Champions League playing through a beatbox or something as well outside the ground. So that got everybody going. But it's special, isn't it? Because I think it won't hit until that Champions League music belts out at St. James's.
It might hit before then, potentially. It depends on the summer.
Well, with the players, yeah.
It'll depend on transfers in. You've got to remember there's a lot more content to come as well. And I know it is about the football, but I think it's important to point out something that I talked about as well a couple of years ago is that I was so jealous of like Man City, Man United, and Arsenal that they'd all got really good social media teams. There was lots of YouTube content, just lots of fun for the fans, stuff to do with FIFA, Football Manager, charity events. It was all online. It was just everything was connected, and now we've got that after we've just never had it really. And then because the last time we were competent enough, we didn't really have all YouTube and everything. It wasn't like that. So this is kind of a new chapter for us as fans. We get to kind of watch all these really cool Shay Given practicing goalkeeping drills with all the current lads. It's so fun and refreshing. So I think the Champions League will hit in the summer when we get a few of the new lads in. I'm sure we'll make one or two big signings, lots of interviews, fun little games. They'll do events, especially in the US tour. I think we'll get some more interesting things even before the season starts, to be honest. I think the club are well aware. And this is a summer full of rebranding as well. Sponsorships, kit, front of the shirt. There's going to be a lot to come. So I reckon the summer's going to be real fun.
I'll tell you what, Alex, I was thinking about this earlier. The new EASFC, which is the basically FIFA. It's going to be unique to see a Newcastle United player as a walkout when it first starts. I can't remember that one we ever had, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the last time we were massive, we had Owen on the front of Pro Evo, I think, 2008, was it?
Yeah, way back,
2008 Evo, which was the season we went down. We had Michael Owen on the front of it. It's the last time we've been anything in terms of like the gaming world or the online world.
We've had a couple more super chats come in. Let's have a look. Alvin Messenger, thank you for your $5. He says, what a great night. War Flags was absolutely stunning. The lap after the game, the fans celebrating outside. It was a night we'll never forget. Roblox, thank you for another £2. He says, Amanda, not the only one in tears. What a club we've got. And Peter, thank you for your $4.99. He says, Champions League music followed by local hero magic. Yeah, of course, that will be the case. But listen, Jack, it's been interesting to see a lot of the former players taking to social media to praise the current set of players. Alan Shearer's letter to Eddie Howe was absolutely unbelievable. I don't know if anyone hasn't seen that, but if you haven't, go and read it because it is incredible. But that just says a lot about Alan Shearer and what the club means to him, Jack.
Oh, I mean, he just grew up loving this club, and he became a legend of this club. He loved this club so much, and to see all this club be ran to the ground for 14, 15 years under Ashley, and now to see us finally get Champions League football, and Alan Shearer there up in his box, looking down, seeing us grab Champions League football qualification. It must bring a tear to his eye, knowing that he was part of this club. He's a legend, and now that club is going to Champions League, which he played in for Newcastle United. Not just Alan Shearer. I mean, Nobby Solano was there last night. Shay Given's also always there. Everyone's just so united in this club. Even David Ginola is always there as well. So all these legends always revisit the club, and it's just like we're united again. And not just only united, we are in the Champions League, and that brings all the legends so close to the club, and it's just so good. I mean, you just couldn't see it coming from 2 years ago under Ashley.
Oh God!
Now,
Jesus.
I know people said, let's take it one step at a time. But I'm glad it's gone quick because I wanted it to go quick because look what we've done. I'm just so happy. I'm so happy, not just for the players, for the club, for the backroom staff, absolutely everyone involved in Newcastle United. I'm so happy.
Darren, good evening, mate. He hope you're well. He says, all right, mate, see my superstition works all the time, big lad, before the match. Same again next season. Great fun with you before the match. Thanks, Darren. Darren forced me to buy a burger yesterday before. Normally, I was going to have one, just to make sure that I wouldn't keel over in the ground. But I was going to have it once the team list had been announced. But Darren has these crazy superstitions that you must do things the same before if we won the previous match. So he said that I had a burger before the teams were announced last time. Yeah, so he made me go. So I went and had it, and it worked. But we had a great laugh beforehand. Alicia, good evening. Peter, good evening. Isn't it a very nice and sunny day today? It is. It's going to be red hot here tomorrow, actually. The sun will be shining. Now, the reason I did that video today out in the garden was because I was testing the GoPro again because during the summer, if stories are announced by the club, I'm going to go to St James's Park this summer and actually, do the reporting from there. And if I can grab anybody for interviews and stuff, then I'll be doing that because I think, during the day it'll be quite good to go to the ground if there's any big breaking stories from the club. That is not rumours or anything, but confirmed things from the club. I'm going to be going there and reporting them. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Just testing everything today. I've got editing on my phone now, so I can just edit and upload straight to YouTube from wherever I am. So I won't have to come home and wait to upload it. So there's lots more coming up from us guys in the summer. Billy's going to be doing an educational piece with me over the summer. So Billy's watch-alongs will have the scoreboard, the ticker, everything that I have on mine for the watch-alongs next season. So everybody's going to be learning new things, Billy Bob.
Indeed, yeah. You can teach old dogs new tricks, apparently. We're going to be going high-tech next season.
Absolutely.
Both home and away games.
And just to let you know, guys, before we went on air, we were around 203 subscribers away from hitting the magic 20,000. So if you do know anybody who wants to subscribe, please get them to do so. We would love to hit that 20K by the end of the season. I think we will, but with your help, we'll get there rather quick. So we are 200 away from 20,000 subscribers. And considering that at the start of this season, we weren't even on 10,000 is incredible. So it's been a meteoric rise. And thank you for everybody that came up last night before the game saying how much they enjoyed the channel. And, there was loads of people came up to me last night, which was lovely. So thank you very, very much. I really do appreciate it. It's nice to know that we're doing the right thing and we are bringing you some sort of entertainment. And I'm sure now we're in the Champions League, that is only going to grow and grow and grow. Disappointing last night, Alex, that unfortunately Joe Linton had to pull out of the game. Eddie said today that they thought he was all right, but he went into the warm-up and he didn't feel like he could compete in the game, which in a way shows Joe Linton's maturity as well.
Yeah, I'd agree there. This is an area of the game I completely disagree with people like Roy Keane on. I think you need to be the bigger man. And if you don't feel like you're there physically enough, sort of 80 to 100%, you need to back down and let somebody, it's a team game. You've got to take your egos out of this. It's for more than just yourself. It's for a whole city and a whole fan base. And he did the right thing. If he didn't feel up to it, he's contributed like an absolute warrior for most of the season. Yeah. It gave Anderson his chance. A little bit frustrating because I do feel like a fully fit Joe Linton would have been enough in that game because he has produced moments of quality through his just brute force on occasion. He's good at making that run because obviously in the previous game against Brighton, we saw him push up alongside Wilson a couple of times. So in a lot of those situations where we saw Sean Longstaff popping up, I feel like that would have been Joe Linton. Had he been playing, which is a shame because I think he would have probably got one of those chances.
We all said last night, said during the match last night that we thought let's not forget that we didn't have Joe Linton and Joe Willock. And I think we would have won that game quite easily had they been in the side. But it was a good, Elliott came in and did okay. I don't think he played particularly badly. I thought he had a good game. We just couldn't, for some reason, the disappointment for me last night, Billy, was the opportunities that we had to cross the ball last night and we didn't, which kind of starved Callum Wilson a little bit of any balls into the box.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to remember that Leicester were playing 11 men behind the ball at all
times. They were.
They came for a point and got one. It was very negative stuff. It was a brand of football we haven't seen for many years. We did it at times under Steve Bruce and the different managers. And it's not great to watch, and it didn't make for the spectacle of the game. I haven't really got any criticisms of the team because I thought they did all they could. It was last-ditch defending at all times. Something that Harry Souttar had a great game. I don't think he won the match, but he had a great game in centre back for Leicester.
By the way, can I just say, in real life, he is an absolute giant. I mean, this guy is off. I mean, look, I mean, you talk about the Jolly Green Giant, and how he was absolutely huge. But I'm not really criticizing. All I'm saying is that a lot of us around, last night sitting there thinking, when it came back to Trippier a couple of times, just whip it in for Callum. Instead of going back to Miggy and the 1-2s and things like that, because we were trying to walk it in again. And I think just somebody take a shot. Somebody hit a shot.
Yeah, they were trying to draw them out, weren't they? And then they were never going to come out. Simple as that. They were never coming out. So,
exactly, They weren't moving. They were just parking the bus, as to say. So Davey says, I don't think we will be disgraced in the Champions League. Absolutely not. We match the best in the world for large periods in this league, and we've gone toe-to-toe with Champions League mainstays. We will be unknown quantities and could surprise. Absolutely. Certainly no reason why not. Hib, welcome to Members Club. Thank you very much for signing up. Thank you for your continued support moving forward, my friend. Alex has brought Harry Souttar's details onto the screen, so we'll have a quick look at him. There you go.
6'5.5", so not shy off Dan Burns' height. So you can see what he was brought in to do, an absolute lump.
Matey, I'm 6'5". He is not just half an inch taller than me. I'm sorry, he's taller than that. He was bloody huge.
And then if we look at his statistics as well, he is bloody good in the air. Aerial duels won in the top 3% in Europe. Blocks very high, clearances very high. You can see why he was brought in, and he did a great job. And then you can see his comparisons: Tarkowski, Ben Mee. Yeah, it's how this guy plays.
Yeah,
it was one job. It was to make sure Callum Wilson is as minimally effective as possible, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. ADB, thank you for your $4.99 super chat. Really appreciate that. Thanks so much for augmenting a brilliant and unique season with your entertaining company. Thank you so much. That's really kind. Really appreciate that. Right, big question of the night, though, guys. Jack, I'll start with you. Should Bruno have been sent off?
Yes, in my opinion. I'm going to say yes. I think stud. Yeah, to be fair, you can look at it from both ways. There's two ways of looking at this. The ball was high in the air. His foot was going to the ball, missed it, hit him on the knee. But for me, it would have been a red card for dangerous play because that could seriously injure someone.
Yeah. Billy, how about you?
No, didn't think it was. Thought it was.
No, I'm still here. Don't worry. I didn't
think it was. I think there was no malice intended at all. I think the ball was there to be winning. He just missed it. I think it was a yellow card. And
Alex?
I think it could have been either. I think that's one of those that's so close to interpretation because he doesn't follow through. He doesn't push. He extends his leg, and then it's kind of pauses, and then he can't get it down until the momentum catches back up. It's one of those where if it's a red, I wouldn't have complained, and a yellow, I'm feeling we're quite lucky. But I think it could have gone either way based on which referee was there on the day. If it was an opposition player, I probably would have been frustrated. It wasn't a red, but you see tackles like that given and not given on occasion. It's the silly ones like the boot on Mings and the skip getting kicked in the head. Those are the ones we don't want to see. Whereas that one is a little bit more 50-50. But if he got a red card, I don't think we could have complained too much.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think if at the time I didn't have any doubt that it was a yellow. I thought, he's gone in. He's a bit late. Seen it again, I thought maybe he has been lucky. But
it looks worse when it's slowed down. They all do that.
Yeah, absolutely, 100% does. But you know what? We've had things go against us this season. We've had things go for us. So it's a merry-go-round of bull rot from the referees. He was poor again, Mariner, last night. I have to say, he made some. I mean, some of the fouls on the Newcastle players that he didn't give were a joke, to be quite honest with you. He's an awful referee anyway. Tangy says, Darren Eales looked ecstatic in his lap of honour. Yes. Geordie Boy says, do you know how many of your subscribers are international, Paul? I'd have to look, mate. If I'm honest, I'd have to go and look at the analytics and break that down. Ian says, our fans are class, our owners are class, Eddie's staff are class, the players are class. We are simply fucking class, says Ian. Billy, the lap of honour, I mean, it was interesting because, Eddie Howe Graham Jones and Tyndall sort of led the lap of honour. But by God, the relief and the happiness on Eddie's face was there all to see. He's not. You don't generally see him as a very emotional man in public, and he's come out and said that various times. But last night, during that lap of honour, it was there for all to see, wasn't it? His emotion just poured out.
Yeah, it was good to see as well. The Iceman finally melted when the prize had been won. It was great to see. Unfortunately, Sky didn't show much of the lap of honour. They grabbed hold of Sean Longstaff, Nick Pope, and a lot of it was kind of missed. But there was lots of shots of Eddie Howe taking the applause of the fans, and quite rightly too. He's had a fantastic season. Surely got to be manager of the season to me. Got to be. Unbelievable season.
Clive wants to know if Alex is having his hair dyed blonde. Well, no, because we haven't won anything yet. He did state we'd have to win something. Am I correct with that, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, take Eddie Howe's wording, top 4. It's a shame we don't get a trophy for it because it feels like it, but it is not a trophy. As soon as we lift a trophy, and it's got to be a recognised trophy, it's got to be Conference, Europa League, Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup or Carabao Cup. Well, unless it changes sponsor. It's got to be one of those. Or even the Community Shield, but by that point we would have already won the FA Cup or the Premier League. That's fine.
Indeed. Charles says, did you see Botman high-fiving all the ball boys and girls? Very nice gesture. Yes, he did.
I think that question's for me, Paul.
You what, mate?
That comment from Clive, I think that was at me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, hi, Jack, mate. Alex is having his hair dyed blonde. I think we'll be only fitting if you had a number 2.
I dyed my hair blonde too many times. Yeah, I was born blonde. I am originally blonde, but it's slightly going now. But I dyed it too many times. It goes blonde, then it goes ginger, and then it goes back to my normal hair. And I've been called a ginger quite a few times. So I do not want to go down that route again.
You don't want to go ginger. That's definitely not.
No.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with being ginger. Now, come on.
It is in
it's
this job.
2023. I mean, in this heat, yes. I mean, you'd probably, it's not good when the sun shines, but hey. David says, Dave Harrison looking down with a smile. Absolutely will be. That there's no doubt about. I've had some messages from a few subscribers today saying that, thanking the channel for what we've done, and also that, they've had relatives pass away during the season, and, it'd be incredible. They'll have the best seat in the house next season for the Champions League, and see the beloved Newcastle playing in the tournament that we've all wanted to be in for a very, very long time. So you don't worry about that. The king will have his throne and he'll be sitting watching down with a whiskey. There's no doubt about it. The TTR is the Champions League. Thank you very much, Ian. Even Simon Jordan had some nice words for Eddie in the club today. Well, he keeps going back and forwards, Simon Jordan. Yeah. I'm not sure what planet that man's on. One minute he's slagging us off.
He was actually calling out all these pundits, saying about don't downplay Newcastle, don't count them out. I'm very surprised by that.
Yeah, you never know what some people are going to say sometimes. Spike Milligan, thank you for your £20 super chat. Again, thank you for your absolute brilliant donations to the channel. He says only one team went out to play. Bruno was a yellow. He stopped the follow through. Brill were in the Champions League. Too long we have waited for this. How are the lads and lasses? Did he pull out of the tackle?
I think he stopped. Yeah, he tried to stop, but then he couldn't withdraw because of the way the momentum was going. Like he couldn't. He stopped himself from following through, but then he couldn't pull out of the challenge, really. It just kind of paused there. If you go and watch it, the replay, it just kind of hung there for maybe a half a second.
Yeah. David says, Paul, you will need the GoPro when you're in America. Let's gloss over that, shall we? Roy, good evening, buddy. Super proud of everyone from top to bottom. A mixture of pride and revenge over how the club and fans have been treated by the likes of Klopp and the media, etc. Yeah, I mean, look, there is a little bit of, inside me this morning. I woke up and I'm thinking, there's a little bit of edge towards the media and everybody who wrote us off, Jack.
Yeah, I just love to see the look on their faces when they're like, Sam and Jordan going, yep, I described them, but wow, they proved me wrong. Indeed, we proved you wrong. I just love to see the look on their faces. Like, I mean, before when the takeover first went through, oh, Paul Merson, they're going to spend. They don't have a clue at Newcastle. I think you found we do, mate. I think you found we do, because look, we're Champions League. Your Jurgen Klopp ain't laughing anymore. We're proving everyone wrong. And that is the one thing everyone loves to do in the world now, prove people wrong. And indeed, we're doing that. And you just love to laugh in their faces once more. But wouldn't it be even better just to... and they'll come back. They'll be discredited before the Champions League saying, oh, we'll finish fourth. We'll embarrass our country in the Champions League. And then we'll prove them wrong again. But you don't just love it, eh?
I imagine, Billy, that Mr. Klopp smashed his front room up last night when Pope made that save. Can you imagine?
I imagine he did, yeah. I bet he bit every bit of polystyrene and concrete and plaster and furniture in the house with teeth marks everywhere.
Absolutely. Chris says, remember when the Liverpool fans booed our players off at Anfield, shouting, you effing deserve that. Does this still apply now? We have qualified for the Champions League and Liverpool haven't. Too effing right, says Chris. Simon at All the Pies says, cheers for jumping on an interview with Kev for our channel, Paul. You're welcome. All the Pies is pretty much a new Newcastle United football channel, so go and give them a watch. They're a great bunch, great couple of lads. I've got a lot of time for them, so well done and no problem at all. Chrissy says, lads, what's your predictions on players coming in and out? Well, we'll discuss that as the summer goes on. We did one last week, if you haven't seen that, about players who could leave. What did I call it? Gallagher or Go. So it's still on the channel if you want to go back and watch that later on. Geordie Metal, thank you for your £20 and your continued support of the channel as well. Hoping we get Bayern Munich. I've had a few boozy weekends there with the lads, and the local lasses are not too bad either. Well, thanks for saying that, mate. That's me ruled out to going to Bayern Munich.
So what do you mean, Jacko going then?
Well, listen,
I
I mean,
family in Munich and in Berlin.
I can make the German look all right. Come on, there you go.
well, yeah, I mean, there you go. I mean, you know, what German woman wouldn't want that? You know what I mean? Just incredible.
I'm already classified as a German as it is, so yeah.
Hey?
How come?
Well, the tradition normally is a traditional German is blonde with blue eyes.
Oh, that's true. Aryan, they call it.
Interesting. Jim says a couple of Leicester fans saying their local radio stations are reporting Maddison has signed a pre-contract agreement with the Toon. Right.
No.
Now, this has been stated by a lot of Leicester fans last night at the ground, right? Now, I'm sorry, but you can't sign a pre-contract if you're under contract with Leicester City. It's only as if your contract is coming to an end. In the last 6 months of your contract, can you sign a pre-contract? So for all these people reporting that he signed a pre-contract, they look a bit silly because you can't, right? It's absolute. It's just the rules. You cannot sign a pre-contract unless you're in the last 6 months of your current. He still has a year left on his Leicester contract. So let's just put that out there and put that to bed straight away.
He may have a relegation release clause, mind.
He may well do. Yes, he may well have. He may well have spoken to Newcastle already as well. What I will say is, when he came to warm up last night, he was shaking hands and high-fiving all the Newcastle players who were warming up, which I found very interesting. Did you find it strange, Alex, that him and Barnes were left out of the side last night? Did that sort of tell you what Leicester's intentions were?
Well, yeah, I mean, Dean Smith explained it. I mean, to be honest, I think it's. I've got to be careful how I phrase this because I understand that Rafa had a certain way of playing, but we did this on a couple of occasions because it was Manchester City, and I think our personnel we had available at the time versus Manchester City is very different to the kind of personnel Leicester had available last night and the level we are. We are not at the level Manchester City were 4 years ago. And Leicester have a much higher quality side than we did 4 years ago. So I think for him, for the first words to come out of his mouth in the interview were, I'm not going to apologise for that performance. I think he's a poor manager. I think that Grealish covered up a lot of cracks in his tactical inflexibility. I think he's a right, let's not mince my words here. I think he's a great manager, but we're talking about managers who are going to be competent in the top half of the Premier League. He struggles at Premier League level, I think. I think he's a good manager somewhere between the Championship and League Two. I think this might be just beyond him. Unless he can improve his managerial skills over the next 5 to 10 years, I think this is a level that will always be beyond him unless he gets help by sort of the odd superstar player, like a Grealish at the time.
Jack, I mean, look, we've the players on that pitch yesterday, some of them will know that they're leaving, won't they? Some of them will hopefully maybe get an opportunity to impress, as we said earlier on, that he may change things on Sunday and give these fringe players an opportunity. And he would say to them, go out there and, prove to me you're worth a place in the squad next season.
Yeah, go out there and play your heart out, as if it's your last game of your life, or as if it's your last game. Well, technically, yeah, last game in a Newcastle shirt. Show why, wear that black and white striped shirt with pride, knowing that you may leave at the end of the season, but at least leave the club in some sort of knowing that you've put your all into the club and know that you've helped this club move to far better things. And if I was a Newcastle player, knowing that I'm probably going to leave next season, it must be hard, because looking at Newcastle, we just qualified for Champions League. It's every footballer's dream to be playing Champions League football, and knowing that you're probably going to leave, it wouldn't be a nice feeling. But they know, I just said Paul in today's video, football's a cruel world. You have to move on. You have to make transfers, but you have to move on. Your contract ends up expiring, and you have to move on. And they're professionals. They should know that. But look, some of these players, I've put a lot into this club, bringing us back up from the Championship and carrying on, keeping us in the Premier League, even when Steve Bruce was awful. And some of these players still kept fighting through, dragging us through some, whether it's a point or 3 points or 0 points, kept us in the Premier League. And they should leave this club head held high, knowing that they've done well for this club. Yep.
Right, we got something very special now, because a lot of people have been asking for this, and given the way the emotions are at the minute, some people may want to get the tissues ready again, because this was very special when we first put it out there, and it's going to seem very, very special tonight again. So please do sit back and enjoy the next 6 or 7 minutes.
On December 9th, 1892, the merging of two clubs gave birth to what has become for many people around the world their pride and joy. At the football cathedral known as St. James's Park, fans have gathered for over a century to watch and support those who play the game we love and represent the pride of our hearts. Many have been the accomplishments of our club throughout its history. And yes, like every other club, we have had our ups and downs. But at the beginning of a new century, little did we know what sort of hell awaited us. In 2007, a devil disguised as a savior acquired our honor club, and he who shall not be named promised a new era. His initial moves were hailed as worthy. He endeared himself to the fans. He joined with them in away stands, drank with them, and all seemed destined for greatness. But little did we know how bad he had started. Acquiring a club that was in debt at not knowing it was just the first step of many behind-the-scene misdeeds of this man. And in short time, it was clear to see that to him, our beloved club was just another business. As long as the checkbooks balanced out, all was good. But even that was a lie, for his meddling and mismanagement of the club was obvious from early on. He disgraced and disrespected our legends, tarnished our reputation, and in less than 2 years, we were relegated. The hated fate of every player, club, and fan. But our resiliency made it possible to quickly win this championship and come back up to where we belonged. And some thought, you know what? We can get through this. Better times are ahead. What fools some were. What followed was bad deals, bad management, bad business. And in 7 short years, we again faced the harsh reality of relegation. And though our team came back up, and again did it by winning the championship. Fans had had enough. Many left. Many just went through the motions, waiting to see how quickly the next relegation would come. Then, towards the end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021, rumors and reports started popping up about the interest of a Saudi Arabian-backed group wanting to acquire our club. Pundits, reporters, and fans alike didn't know what to make of this. As it became more evident that this was real and that it could happen, an opinions war began. Tempers flared. External opposition grew. Negative opinions of the so-called experts became a daily occurrence. And we, the fans, didn't know what to think. We were afraid. For they say the last thing you lose is hope. And we dared not hope, for we were afraid of losing what we had left. Tonight, we remind the world, we are the Magpies. We are the Toon Army. We are united. We are Newcastle United. Welcome to the Toon Review's Takeover Anniversary.
Thank you very much for watching that, guys. By the way, mods, can we please get rid of Nick X and Glenn, because they're absolute bellends. Glenn, you're a member of the channel and you put idiotic comments like that. I'm sorry, but I don't want you as a member of the channel. I don't want you anywhere near it. So can we get rid of Glenn and Nick X, please, guys? Because they're just dickheads. And I'm sorry, not proper fans of the channel or Newcastle United. If you want to put things like that, then yeah, I don't want you on the channel, quite honestly. So we'll see you later. Can we get rid of them, please, mods? Billy, it's emotional to you. I know it is, because obviously, you know, we as the older fans, we've seen the absolute rot that's been Newcastle United in the past, not just talking about Ashley, but talking about the years before that, before Keegan came, all of those stuff. So it's massive to fans like us, obviously, but also to the younger generation like Jack. And, well, I don't want to call him younger generation, but a little bit like Alex, who they haven't shared this experience.
No, and the experience we've been there a couple of times, we've seen it. It's something that's unbelievable. You won't believe it until it's actually here. Yeah. And every time I see that video, someone appears in my house cutting onions up. I don't know how that happens, but it does. Really emotional, really well put together video. And I was a bit disappointed with the comments as well that the two you've mentioned made. But we've been through some real lows, haven't we? Getting relegated at Villa Park was a real low. The pathetic attempt at owning the club that actually made that season was possibly the worst I've seen in ownership. Everything he did turned to shit. He had the right. He got Kevin Keegan in. He had us going places, and then pissed him around. And then that stupid circus with Kinnear and all that stuff. It was a horrible season, and it ended, deserved relegation.
I mean, we did that video, sort of with Francisco and myself. We sort of did it all together for the Takeover anniversary. So felt it was right to play that again tonight, given that a lot of people have lost, as we said before, a lot of people have lost relatives, family, and haven't been able to see this. And it means, that montage got a lot when we first released it, and I just felt like it was good to play that again tonight. And but those two bellends aren't going to ruin it because everybody loves it. Phil, thank you for your £5 super chat. We have to get Francisco over for a visit. Someone would put him up for a few days. Absolutely. A lot of people asking, is he okay? Yes, he's fine. I got an email off him at the start of the week, actually. So he is good. I believe he's got a new job, so that's why he's it's difficult for him with the time difference to get on at the minute. So we will get him on at some point, though, from Puerto Rico, and get his views on the finish to the season. Absolutely. Jack, as a younger fan, how do you feel watching that? Because you've obviously very probably only known really the Ashley era as a fan. So for a lad your age, what does it feel like watching that and sort of the excitement for what's to come?
I mean, didn't Ashley take over when I first started supporting the club? I've really just only, you're right, Paul. The only chances I get to watch whilst Ashley was in charge was looking at all the videos of the Kevin Keegan era or the Bobby Robson era. That's the only enjoyment I really got until the takeover. But it was just, I mean, I watched the players under Bruce. I still support the lads. Strange results, but sometimes we won eventually. A few times we won and then we lost for about 7 games and we won one. Watching that video to go from horrid to happiness really, really does bring a tear to my eye, because it's just honestly how big this club has moved on. As it's just so, I just don't know, I can't put into words how happy I am and how ecstatic I am for this club to succeed in the way it has, and to how many lows we've been through, and have to fight relegation 2 times in my since I've been supporting the club, 2 times been relegated. And I remember when we won the championship, I was absolutely over the moon. And you won't really hear that from a Newcastle fan being ecstatic winning the championship, but that's where we were at the time. We were ecstatic about winning the championship because that's really the only high we really got under Ashley. But I'm just so happy now. We've really changed. We've got into the bloody Champions League. Would you ever hear them words a few years ago? Would you ever hear them bloody words? I'm just so happy. I can't believe it's moved this quick. But hey, why not? Let's move on. And we're moving to
lad, it's bloody great, isn't it, sunshine? Yes. By the way, people who didn't see, they were asking what those idiots were saying. I'm not going to go into what they were saying in the chat. If you haven't seen it, then fair enough. But Glenn, who is apparently a member of the channel, turned around and said, "This is cringe." Now, that was his first comment. That went on to, Susan had a go at Glenn, and Glenn's basically had a cheeky thing to say to Susan as well. So, if you, as a Newcastle United fan, think that is cringe, then I'm sorry, you have something wrong with you. Because after all we've been through as a fan base together, to then watch that and think it's cringe. I mean, for God's sake. I mean, that is basically a video of the meteoric rise that we've had, and basically the new owners giving us the football club back, you know, that we felt so distant from for so many years, that they've come in now and give us the football club back. And that montage there is basically a celebration of where we are at, you know, not just to celebrate the takeover, anniversary, but where we are now. And that's what it's all about. So, you know what? I don't want members like that on this channel. I don't really, you know, it can go to hell. It's absolutely terrible.
It was highly disrespectful, Paul, as well, because, I mean, that video is also a little nod to the people that haven't seen this, you know, like our Dave, my dad, lots of people that gotten past during that horrible time of Ashford, who'd seen great times before that, were dying to see great times after, but didn't make it.
So it's absolutely disgusting things to say, and there's reasons for that video, and I don't want disrespectful assholes on the channel like that, quite honestly. We are a better channel than that. Go and watch somebody else and make comments like that if you like. John says, has to be said, both those lads just wanted their 5 seconds. Great video, brought back some suffering. However, better times now, Toon Review. Alexander says, during my recovery here at the hospital, I just caught myself in tears because it meant a lot to me. Brought myself to the days when my dad was alive. There you go, Billy. Exactly what you were talking about.
Exactly with you, mate.
Anyone talk to Jimmy yet? Yeah, Jimmy's fine. Jimmy's good. Jimmy's in trouble. Because Jimmy put a comment underneath my birthday thing on Facebook for my daughter. As you know, she turned 21 yesterday, and Jimmy decided to put underneath that to tell Olivia that all the super chats on one of the shows should go to her birthday. And Olivia then put a comment underneath saying, "That's a brilliant idea, Jimmy." So although Olivia has never had anything to do with Jimmy, she now thinks Jimmy is a wonderful man and says that he's great crack. So, Jimmy, you're in trouble. Because she says that we're going to need a bigger plane if Daisy has her passport. Oh, Christ. We'll need a separate plane just for Daisy to get to the games.
Me and her both. We were the suitcases at the back.
Yeah, are you going to sit? Well, you can sit in the cargo hold with Daisy and just feed her grass all the way, Billy.
I'm not sure. We can't be trusted together, me and her. No.
Oh my God! I can't believe you just said that out loud.
Put her in the hold.
Wow. Keith says, I've been a supporter of this Magic Club for more than 30 years, and I and many more have seen the pain and disregard for our club. I cannot express the joy of the club now. It's phenomenal. It really is. How are the lads? Alex, somebody was asking in the chat what the financial difference is between third and fourth. I don't think it's a great deal, is it?
It won't be much difference between third and fourth. I think it's a few £1 million, which I, obviously when I say out loud is ridiculous. But I mean, for a football club in this position, it's not as much of a difference. But it may help, you know, in the short term. Every little helps in this sense in terms of FFP.
I think people are talking about it rather than look at it as if to say, you know, is it that big of a deal if we
it may help
play the reserves against Chelsea and we don't get the points and we finish fourth.
The extra money might help pay off a contract of one of these players we've still got on a longer, like if we can't get rid of a Fraser, or if we can't get rid of somebody's wages like a Hendrick, or we're trying to get rid of Hayden and we can't, the extra few million prize money from that could help, you know, move some people on, contribute wages, finish contracts up, which will help in the long term. Because we need to clear some of the squad out.
Absolutely. D-Max says, when are you guys going to get some recognition from Newcastle United? I don't know if we ever will, to be honest. But look, we might in the future, you know. But at the minute, we just do what we do, and we keep growing. And I'm sure, you know, once we get to 20K and over, that's probably when things will start to happen a little bit, because, you know, people will realize that we're not a little channel anymore. We are one of the bigger ones, and we are growing. But, you know, we don't like to blow our own trumpet, so to speak, like some do. Never mind. David Smith, thank you for your $9.99 super chat. Great video. For us Oldens, the pain started long before Ashley. Lord Westwood, McKeague, etc. Apart from Sir John Hall, we've always been shortchanged as fans. McKeague was oh my God. It's safe to say he wasn't very well liked, Billy Bob.
No, he was horrendous, wasn't he? All that era of Paul Jim Smith and Ozzy Ardiles and all that stuff was...
Wow. I mean, Jesus. Ian says, any celebratory TTR mugs planned? I'm sure Susan's working on some merch for Champions League. I mean, look, the merch, we've sort of died it down a little bit the last few weeks and months because we were having problems with suppliers, etc. So I think some people kind of forget that there was only me and Susan involved in doing the merch. And sort of... I was a little riled, actually, if I'm openly honest. Some of the messages that we used to get were quite off, you know, and I think some people didn't realize that it was just me and Susan. We're not a business or anything like that. We're not a supplier or a creator of the merchandise. We rely on other people. And when you're in that sort of situation, it is very difficult sometimes to be able to process things at speed, etc., because you rely on those other people, and it's very difficult to do. But things have been a little bit more revamped now, and I'm going to relaunch the sort of website again with new merch, which you know, hopefully we'll have things like Daisy the Cow on there. We'll have Champions League stuff and Newcastle United, and I'm sure Billy will buy a Daisy to cuddle up with on a night time. You know, so hopefully Alex in a cowboy outfit, badges and things like that, and all sorts of stuff. Which will hopefully be coming, stickers and things like that. So yeah, Frau, thank you very much. Enough idiots out there with other fans of other clubs. Exactly, Daz. Exactly. What date does the summer window open? I believe it's the 1st of June. Is it, Alex?
Last year it was June 10th.
Was it June 10th last year?
Contracts generally expire May 31st, but I don't think it opens straight away.
Yeah.
I have to check.
I think it's like probably like a week or two after May.
Did you guys, by any chance, on TV see Miggy's son on the pitch at the end?
Yeah,
I've seen a little bit. Yeah, taking penalty.
Scoring he went and scored at the Gallagher, and honestly, the roar was as loud as the Newcastle United goal. It was absolutely incredible, and he just sort of stood and looked into the Gallagher, and. I mean, memories for Miggy will just be incredible there, who, by the way, played really well again yesterday. I have to say that. He was outstanding. But you know one thing, and Leon, if you're watching Leon, good evening, who sits next to me, he turned around and said halfway through the second half, if he had a right foot, he would be unplayable. Because if he had a right foot as well, no defender would know where he's going to go.
He did try his right foot a little bit more, though, yesterday.
Absolutely did. And that's all look, if he's staying next year, I want to see in the summer work on his right foot, because if he had a right foot, nobody would know, Billy, which way he's going.
No, we've seen it the past couple of games as well. He's gone on his right foot and gone around the outside of the defenders, and they've been worried about where he's going next time he gets the ball. So, yeah, it's bearing fruit. He's obviously doing a bit of work on it, because last 2 games he's actually got crosses in with his right foot. They ain't been great, but at least he's trying.
Yeah. Davey says, is there a Champions League special coming? Like a review on each possible opponent? Be sure to stoke up the the excitement and intrigue to another level. And also, Stato would be on fire.
Yes. I've already started planning it.
Well, there you go, Davey. You can see as soon as I didn't even get to finish that comment, and Alex was already buzzing. So you can see that that will definitely be on its way. Dominic says, totally agree, Paul. To say cringe, says he's not a true supporter. John says the 2 dicks probably supported Man United in September. Yeah, that's not probably, yeah. Ashley 80 says, cringe, what a stupid comment. In the words of Del Boy, you plonker. I mean,
I don't get that.
For a member to say that, I mean, I can't believe it. Wow, it's just crazy. Clarky says, who the hell does Paul think he is, acting like he owns the channel? Clarky, you've got to love you. John says, just wish my dad was still here. He would have loved all this. A season ticket holder for over 30 years and he's not here anymore. Yeah, but as I said before, they will all be looking down from the best seats in the house and proud as punch of what's happening with this football club. Call Me Swift says, I agree with Jimmy. Yeah. Sophia says, Jimmy's always in trouble. He is funny enough, isn't he? Without a shadow of a doubt. The Clone Lad says, the pain over the last 14 years has made the current season even sweeter. Great video, Paul. R.I.P. Dave. C-Stock says, the video was wonderful. Brought me to tears. My dad is up there watching and so proud of the club he supported his whole life. Yeah, it's just the turnaround. The club is... John Joe says, personally think Glenn was being funny. Too many sensitive. John Joe, give it over, man. I'm sorry, but being funny, maybe it's with his first comment, but then he went on and on. So, John Joe, if you want to join them, feel free, matey, but he wasn't. We're a big, I don't know whether people have noticed, but the kind of channel is a big family. So, don't need people like that. Right, are we going to do the player ratings tonight, guys? Do we want to do them?
Yeah, why not? We've done it for every other game.
Yeah.
That's very true. We have. Before we do, we've got a £10 super chat from Peter Rising. If run properly, I always knew our club was capable of an unstoppable trajectory. The potential was always there. The KK and SBR years proved it. So happy good times are back. So Bobby would be proud. He certainly would. Yeah. Right. Okay, then let's move into the player ratings. Guys, take part in the chat. Let's see what you say, because sometimes, I don't know whether you've noticed, but we sometimes disagree. But we'll see. Right, Billy, we'll start with you on Nick Pope.
Well, he's had absolutely nothing to do all game, yet when it mattered most, he turned up trump. So for that alone, and I don't think I've given this Mike all season, actually, because I've been really, not critical, but...
You're giving him a 10, aren't you?
I'm going to give him a 10, yeah. I am.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to give him a 10, because it's hard for a goalkeeper to get 10, but what he had to do, he did it, and he did it in abundance. It was a fantastic save when it mattered.
Yeah. I'm giving him a 10 as well, and simply for that reason. I mean, can you imagine the deflation had Leicester scored there? We're literally a couple of minutes away from guaranteed Champions League, and if Leicester scored there, it goes to the last day. I know our goal difference is better, but you just never know in football. And it was just an outstanding save. To keep that sort of concentration was amazing, and a lot of people agreeing in the chat. I'm going 10 as well. Alex?
I mean, I think a rating should be sort of a 7 or an 8, but I think when you factor in how late the save was and how important it was, and how hard it must be to be switched onto it, and it was quite a tough save as well. It was coming right at him very close. I think a 10's kind of fair. I think it's sort of a 7 or 8, but added points for the fact it was so late and he had to stay switched on. I can't really disagree with it when you factor in how important it was.
There was no coming back from that, Alex, if it had scored, would there? No coming back that late.
Exactly. We wouldn't have got back in the game, no. Jack?
Got me a 10. It's got to be a 10. I mean, you never really see a goalkeeper getting a 10 for making one save in a game, but hey, we don't care on this channel. We give a 10 for whatever we want, and to stay like what Will just said, we don't. He's done nothing all game. That was Leicester's first shot and shot on goal, because he did nothing attacking the whole game. And Nick Pope just to stay switched on. And I swear to God, my life never flashed before my eyes quicker than that. I did not know it was going to hit me there. I was
right behind it.
I was literally getting ready for the net to ripple and my heart to sink. But Nick Pope is there as a god, as the actual Pope, saves us. So yeah, 10.
I mean, look, it's as we've said. You know, had that goal gone in, the deflation around that ground would have been unbelievable. It's not the fact that he only made one save; it's the context of the save that he made, and the time
by Madison as well.
Yeah, the time that he saved it, the fact that he had nothing to do, what it meant for that save, it was incredible. Channel Right says, I like the video. I don't know, Glenn, but maybe he just meant he found the aesthetic of the video was cringe, but not the sentiment. Just trying to be diplomatic. Yeah, maybe he did on the first comment, but they kept going. So you don't sort of talk about the aesthetic and then go on to insult my fiance for one, insult the viewers, and insult anybody else who's the video was for. So there's rhyme and reason for it. Right, let's move to Kieran Trippier. Alex, we'll start with you on Kieran.
Absolutely 10, 100% 10. Ridiculous performance from him. The corners were so much better, so much more accurate. And I would not stop talking about his statistics halfway through that commentary yesterday, because he honestly, he produced 90 minutes worth of statistics by half time. So just for context, I don't know if you've heard this, Paul. Do you want to take a guess at how many touches you think he got in that game?
Well, I think he had over 100 in the first 10 minutes, didn't he?
But generally, it's a real guess. How many do you think he had? Sort of top end, like Lewis Dunk gets sort of 100-ish when Brighton have good games. How many do you think Trippier got?
160.
He's definitely looked this up. It's 162.
Oh,
Very close. 162
Alex,
touches.
I don't look anything up, mate. You do know that.
It's ridiculous. Well, good guess anyway. 113 accurate passes, 3 key passes, 3 accurate crosses, 15 accurate long balls. 15. It is just ridiculous. He was covering so well. His heat map, like Bruno's, might as well the right side, you might as well just colour the whole thing in red, because he was just up and down. He wasn't the reason we didn't score yesterday. The amount we used him, the way he was trying to move left, right, orchestrating where to go, trying to find the space, create the space. Absolutely phenomenal. He gets a 10, 100%.
I want your guys' opinion on this, because I'm fucking done with this. Like, Toon Sean says, in my opinion, the content itself wasn't cringe. Disrespectful to slate someone's opinion about it, though. Yes, Paul. How high, Paul? Okay, Paul. You want yes men on your channel only.
Well, he's already explained 3 times. It was the following comment that was the nail in the coffin. If it was just that, then it's fine. It might just be an opinion. That's cool. But it was the next comment. And once you insult, the head mod of the channel, no, it doesn't matter who you are, I'm afraid.
So you insult my fiance, and then you find that all right, that I should just be okay about that, because it's his opinion to slate my fiance, to slate the viewers, to slate us. You think that's fine? Go and join him, Toon Sean. That's fine by me. I don't need people like that on the channel. And yes, it is my channel. So what's your problem? Jesus Christ. Anyway, Billy, Kieran Trippier.
Yeah, while we were watching the game, it was just apparent that everything we did involved him. Everything. It was the perfect game from a right back to basically control the game from that position is really difficult. But he did it last night. He was outstanding. I thought he'd gone off the ball a little bit towards the end of the season. The past 2 games have been phenomenal. Yeah, you can't give him less than 10 because he was superb.
Yeah. Jack?
Keep it short and sweet, because I might talk about Trippier all day long. But 10 for me. Brilliant. Crosses were definitely more accurate, like Alex said. Definitely on someone, other than going all the way past the whole box without reaching anyone. Defensively, solid. I thought he had a cracking game. 10.
Yeah. I'm going the same thing. 10 for me. Look, it's fair to say that he had a little bit of an off spell towards the back end of the season, but everybody has in the team. There's not just one player that's they've all been highs and lows throughout the season. But one thing that Kieran's always been is a captain. No matter whether he's having a good game or a bad game, his captaincy has been simply incredible. Sometimes he's a joy to watch when you see him pointing at players and making sure that they know where they are. Loads of times yesterday when he was coming over to take a corner, he would always high five Elliot Anderson, say, well done, keep it going. And it's that kind of captaincy that we haven't had at this club for quite a long time. But there you go. Anyway, we'll move on to the left back now. We'll go to Dan Byrne. Alex, we'll start with you.
That's a tough one, because he wasn't bad, but I'll give him an 8. I think that's
he had a lot of touches in the first half. He got the ball a lot. We were swinging it out the left a lot.
He did, but let's be honest. He was the trigger for their press a lot of the time. His close control and his first touch in the first 30, 35 minutes was really poor. You know, we were trying to get set in their half, ready to start moving it around and try and exploit space. But because he would have to take 2 to 3 touches to settle before he then played that next pass, the gaps were gone, the opportunities were gone, and it was because Burn isn't very technical.
Yeah.
But we already know that, so I can't really criticize him for it. He had an okay game, but I think his lack of sort of zip and attacking and like output kind of hindered us in a game like that. I thought that was very much a Matt Target game. Obviously, Burn is just being consistent with Burn, but that's fair. But Burn was all right. He didn't do anything wrong, but he just didn't really give us much.
Jack?
I'd give him an 8 as well. We didn't have loads to do defensively, so that's probably why we're not shouting out about him like sometimes we do every week. But I totally agree. I totally agree with Alex. I mean, when I was watching the match, whenever we wanted to really, really go for their throat, right, pop a pace down the left-hand side, invert into space, get Isak on that ball from Dan Burn to Isak, whoever we want to go. Ball came over. Dan Boone went to touch it, went behind him. And then he had to chase back, get the ball, turn around, play it again. And like Alex said, by then, the chances closed. And then that slowed our attack down. So Dan Boone, we know, like Alex said, not technically good. And he's definitely not going to be the first choice next season. But look, he's done a good job this season. And I think, he's not good technically, but I think he was solid defensively. But yeah, I think 8's a good score for him.
I'm going to give him a 7. I don't think he was quite at an 8, but the similar reasons as you guys. Billy?
Yeah, I think 7's fair too. Of course, later in the game, when that cross came in, it was from Burns' side. So the bit of defensive work he really needs to do, he didn't do it. But yeah, he did some nice passing the ball across pitch. But it wasn't his kind of game, was it? We need, I think, more attacking defenders on than what Dan Burn is. It's not his fault, but I'll give him a 7.
Okay. Right, we'll move into the middle. We'll start with Botman. Alex?
I think an 8 as well. I think he had a better performance than Burn did. His switches were helping. It was him and Bruno were pretty tidy in that. They were listening to Trippier and understanding when to try and spread it out and try and stretch the pitch really, really wide. We've not really seen too many penetrative passes from him. In the first sort of 20-25 games, we saw quite a lot of, he would play a nice, he'd sort of look up and play a flat 30-yard pass that would take 3 players out of the game. And obviously that's going to be hard against sort of Leicester's shape. But he was really solid. I mean, statistically, I think he was fine. He dropped to 7.2 on SofaScore, 95% pass accuracy, 4 accurate long balls. So he picked his passes carefully. But he's just nice and careful. He can have an 8.
I'm going with 8 as well. I think it was his normal self. But like you say, we've missed that kind of killer diagonal ball that we've seen him play for very early doors this season. But he was still solid. He was still excellent for me. He gets an 8 from me. Jack, what do you reckon?
I give him an 8 as well. As I said with Dan Burn, we've not had much to shout about defensively, so most of these defenders are going to get a reasonable score because Leicester just didn't do anything, did they? I mean, Pope and the defenders, all they did was get the ball attack. That's all they did, and then they had to defend at some stage of the game. But I'll give him an 8. Okay,
Billy.
I'll give him a 9. When we're playing against a low block, you need creative defenders, and Sven Botman is that. His passing superb. His defensive work didn't have a lot to do. He did what he had to do perfectly well. But as against a low block, the passing he's got, the range of passing, I thought last night was a bit better than it's been lately, and so I'll give him a
9. Richard's given him a +1 as well because he was smiling on the lap of honour, and it's not very often you see Botman smiling. I don't know about that. I mean, I think we've seen him smile plenty when we've scored, but
you
are right, Richard. He gives that sort of essence off, doesn't he, Sven Botman? That he's a very, I remember when he signed. Can you remember when he signed and he got out the car and everyone was kicking off because he wasn't smiling? And a lot of people said, "Oh, he clearly doesn't want to be here." He's, you know what I mean? But yeah, I understand that, Richard. Yeah, he gives that character off, doesn't he? That he's a very sort of serious kind of guy.
I mean, Haaland gives that impression off, doesn't he?
Well, he does,
But
yeah.
That's
yeah.
just them sort of players.
Yeah. Right, we'll move on to Fabian Schär, and I'm giving him an 8. I thought he did give the ball away a couple of times last night with some sloppy passing, but look, Fabian, again, he got another whack in the face yesterday. This man is just a Terminator. He just doesn't stop. He could have gone down grabbing his face yesterday, but he didn't. He played on. And eventually you think it stopped bleeding again, and he just played on. So for me, just fantastic. So he gets an 8. Billy?
I want to give him a 7.
Okay.
5 or 6 lacks of concentration, giving the ball away, letting the ball go into his foot, that kind of thing. Really, schoolboy errors, really. But I will give him an extra point for that clearance from the Pope save, which if he hadn't done it, might have been disastrous.
Yeah, he was right on the spot, wasn't he? Yeah.
So, yeah, I think 7 is fair, but he's really sloppy with the ball at his feet. Really sloppy.
Yeah. Jack?
I can't give Botman an 8 without giving Schär an 8. I mean, at one point in the game was going on. Trippier had to fill in for Schär right centre back, because Fabian Schär was just doing something on the side of the pitch, sorting something out, because he's a warrior, because he has something wrong with him, like he always does. Then he got back on and kept on playing. He's just a warrior. And then I felt like a bit harsh if I gave Botman an 8 and didn't give Schär an 8, so I give him an 8.
Do you think the end of the season's come at the right time for Fabian Schär? Because let's be real, he's took some absolute battereds this season, and is due a rest. I mean, Alex, what are you going to score him?
Oh, I'm going to go with a 7 as well. I agree with Billy.
Right.
I thought he played as well as Botman, but then slipped, misplaced a couple of passes. It was those lapses in concentration that could have cost us if Leicester had been a bit more on the ball counter-attacking wise. So he has to be marked down for that. So I can't give him any more than a 7. But apart from those few moments of concentration, his game was okay. I think he was quite a beast, sort of physically. He put a 7.9 up on SofaScore, which is pretty high. 11 aerial duels won. 86% passing accuracy. Again, touched the ball 114 times. So he got a lot more of the ball than Botman did. A couple of key passes. But again, it was those few lapses in concentration that I'm going to keep him at a 7 for that.
But look, he's been marvellous this season, and I think that will reflect in his, the rating we give him in the end of season review. So, but he's Call Me Swift says he's been through the trenches this season, and that is there's no doubt that he's been through the trenches. Just a wonderful player. Right, let's move into midfield. We'll start off with Bruno. Billy.
Another fantastic game for him, to be honest. I know he missed from an inch out, which seemed impossible to do, but he did. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe after I'd seen it on replay. But his general play was fantastic last night. Just spreading the ball from left to right, popping up everywhere on the pitch. Looked more mobile than usual. Whether that's with Sean Longstaff being back on the side, he felt he had some cover to go wherever he wanted to go. I want to give him an 8, I think.
Okay. His face when he missed that chance, as if to say, I can't believe that. What just happened there? Just incredible. I'm giving him an 8 as well. But what I did notice was how much free space he had. And that's strange when Longstaff's back in the side. It clearly makes a difference. But he had a lot more freedom last night.
I think some of that is also down to Leicester being.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Much.
Well, if you'd give me a chance to finish, Alex, I would explain that I was going to say that as well. It had a lot to do with how Leicester parked the bus as well. But thank you for confirming that to me, Alex. I feel better with that. Go on, what are you giving Bruno, Alex?
I'm going to give him a 9.
Okay.
I thought he was outstanding. Again, he's got to play sort of that deeper role. He was meant to be the orchestrator, the conductor. He was very much doing that Pirlo sort of, he's just going to go left, right, and just try and see what fullbacks are there. If anybody's making a run, he was the one licensed to pull the trigger. He was the one that the fullbacks and the centre backs were passing the ball to. He was there to try and get everyone out of trouble if they needed it, to receive a pass under pressure. Statistically, he was an absolute anomaly again. Dropped to 7.3, but I feel like he deserved more. 99 accurate passes out of 107, which is a 93% pass accuracy for somebody that was so involved. 123 touches. he was just absolutely immense. And he was the one trying the creative things. He was trying the little scoop balls, sort of daisy cutter, sort of whipped low balls. He was trying to spray it out to people making runs on the wing. He tried so hard to come up with combinations and was unfortunate not to score. So I think it was a 9. I think it was a great performance from him.
A lot of people, well, a few people in the chat saying, should we not deduct a point because he could have been sent off? But I think if you're going to do that every game, then that would be a bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's a case for it, I guess.
I docked him a point for missing from an inch.
Well, yeah. Jack?
You know what? Just for that, screw it. Bruno 0. No, I'm joking. I'll give him an 8. I thought he was generally solid again. He was very good against Brighton. He was very good against Leicester last night, and I thought there's no point in saying it because Alex and Paul have cleared it up for me. So I'll give it an 8.
Okay. Call Me Swift says, I would also like to give a 10 to all the panel and the mods on this channel for a great season of content. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, mate. That's really, really kind. Thank you so much for that. Right, let's move to Sean Longstaff. I'll start with Sean, and I'm giving him a 9. I thought Sean was brilliant yesterday, considering he'd been out for a few games with injury. He comes back into the side very unexpectedly, I have to say. Although I had heard rumblings in the afternoon that he was going to be playing, you never know. But listen, he's definitely been a very, very integral part of that team this season. But we're only voting him on this game, and I think he was a 9. I think he was making good runs into the box. Some of his tackling was superb last night. I'm bloody really pleased for Sean. I really am. So he gets a 9 from me. Jack?
I was very surprised to see him starting, actually. I thought he'd come on relatively later on the bench, but when he started, I'm like, tell you what, that will free up Bruno, depending on how Leicester play. But having Longstaff in is very refreshing because he just does everything. He tackles, he attacks, he just does absolutely everything, and he's class Longstaff. I give him a 9 as well.
Okay. Alex?
I'm going to give him an 8, but I do agree with what a lot of people have said. And again, I can't be too harsh because the same way we talk about Dan Burn, I can't punish him for what he's not got. It just is a little bit frustrating because I think we're all in agreement that if a slightly more technical 8 finishes one of those chances, the amount of slips and sort of poor first touches. And I know a lot of people are going to say, yeah, well, he's just come back from injury. Yeah, that's fair enough, but he always does that, to be fair, even when he's fit. The only game where it's clicked was the Southampton game. Now, obviously, we don't expect a midfielder to be doing that all the time, or he'd be winning Ballon d'Ors. But if somebody could do that a little bit more often in a season, that is the difference between sort of us scraping top 4 and being comfortably top 4 and really pushing on. But the work rate and the energy for somebody who probably hasn't really trained a lot, he gets an 8. He was brilliant. I'm praying that he can prove me wrong and hit another technical level. I really hope so.
Well,
really hope he does.
We'll have to see what happens in the summer. And of course, if we keep Longstaff in there, bringing all these, quality players that we're expected to bring in, that could bring his game on. We'd be training with them every day.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was literally thinking the same thing. You never know. If we get a more technical 8 as competition, there might be more impetus for him to try and, I need to improve my technical quality if I'm going to get more minutes. So, completely right. I hope so.
Craig says, I'm giving a 10 for Billy's rude comments over the course of the season.
What?
I'm sure he'll be proud. Yes, absolutely.
Top impression.
Yeah, Mary says, for season innuendo, you all get a 10. That includes the mods and hosts. Thank you for the banter. It helps when you don't feel at your best. Thank you, Mary. That's really kind. Right, who hasn't done Longstaff yet? Billy?
Yeah, I'll give him an 8 too. We've missed him terribly. The balance of the side looks so much better with him in it. However, he did get in the way at 2 or 3 occasions and slipped on the ball in the box and things like that. Pretty clumsy in the penalty area. But all in all, I thought his all-round game was really good, so I'll give him an 8.
Okay. Have you given him a vote, Jack?
Yeah, I have,
yeah. Right, we'll move on to Elliot Anderson now. Jack, we'll start with you on Elliot.
It must have been a little bit weird for Anderson getting a very late call into the 11. But would he care? I mean, he's starting at St James's Park in the most vital game of the season. I wouldn't care. So I think Elliot Anderson, I thought it was relatively good. I mean, you look at Elliot Anderson from a first look and you won't think he was technically as good as he was. But he was there. He was confident taking on plays. He was the little cutting in on his right, crossing in, had a decent shot that nearly went in. Very good shot. I thought it was reasonably solid. So I give him an 8. I thought it was very, very good.
Okay. Stephen says, any chance of seeing the giraffe video again, please? I've lost it. Never mind that James Bond villain laugh, Billy. I generally have. I think it's still on one of my. I think I can dig it out. I'll probably play some of that on like the review of the season, because obviously we'll look back at some funny stuff as well. So I'll try and dig that out for you. Alex, Elliot Anderson.
I think a 7 from me is yeah. I think that's probably what I'm going to go for. A good showing, a good level-headed senior appearance from a young man who's not had a real look in at play, having a proper start. Really, obviously his first start was marred by the Nick Pope red card. Thought he was very tidy, safe. It could have been a game where he made a mistake and we got counter-attack, but he was very, very careful with it. Struggled a little bit to do some sort of link-up plays. I think it's a little bit unfair, the fact that he got showcased next to Isak, because Isak is so technically, his level of technical ability is so high. It made Anderson look sluggish, and Anderson is not sluggish. He's very nippy and technical himself. I just think it probably looked a bit harsh on him, contrasting him with Isak. But a good showing. He just kind of struggled to make any sort of 1-2s. There wasn't a lot of space to operate. Again, he's a young lad. That's a difficult game to try and ask him to compete and pick a lock. Yeah. So he did fine. He gets a 7. I thought he was all right.
Well, I'm going to slightly disagree and give him an 8, because I thought he actually combined quite nicely with Isak in the first half. I thought they were knocking it around between the two of them very nice. I do understand what you mean. There was times where Isak just sort of disappeared into eternity, and Elliot was standing there thinking, has he just done that? Especially the close control on the touchline was just absolutely incredible. So I do understand, but I thought he went a little bit quiet second half. I think he found it very frustrating because of Leicester Park and the bus. I think they all found it frustrating in the second half, but I thought he did all right, so I'll give him an 8. Billy?
Yeah, I'll give him a 7. I thought it was a good showing for his first real start, after the Liverpool game. He probably would have expected to be playing after the Joe Willock injury and maybe on the other side of midfield. So it helped him actually being on his right side. But I just think he could have helped Isak a little bit more when he had 3 men on him. He could have pulled a player away from him now and again, and he didn't really do that. But he's a young lad. He's got lots of time to learn, lots of talent in his game. He's going to be a massive star. So 7 is a good score for someone really making his full debut in the league.
Yeah, and it was a massive game, like Jack said, a huge game to step into, considering he wasn't expected to start. Let's move to the front three, and we'll start with Miggy. I'm going to give Miggy a 9. I thought he was excellent again last night, and he's clearly took my advice on board and turned in some more good performances. And like I said, look, on a serious note, I think, like I said before, there's a few people around me saying if he had a right foot, this guy would just take it to the next level. He really would, because the defenders just wouldn't know what to do. He could ping a cross in first time on his right foot. He could then cut back on his left a couple of times, then jig back on his right and get a cross in. So I just hope he works on that more in the summer. But he was excellent again last night. So a 9 for me. Billy?
Yeah, I think 9's fair. I think he wasn't just against one defender. Whenever he got the ball, the two centre-halves would go across to him as well. We saw Wild Feces go out there and try and defend him a few times to no avail. All that being said, there was no real final product. He should have scored on one occasion. But actually, as a threat, he was a massive threat to Leicester, even with the 11 men behind the ball kind of tactic. So, yeah, I think 9's fair.
Yep. Alex?
Yeah, I think 9. I think 8's too low and 10's probably a bit too high. I think 9's probably the right score. A 7.2. This is the sort of game that he struggled with a little bit. earlier on in the season. He was better when he had a bit more space, and then low blocks, he struggled to be a bit creative enough. I don't think he was too bad in that game with creativity. I thought he was the one who created. Yeah, I thought Longstaff was the issue with his runs, not him. The move started with Bruno or Trippier, and then Miggy got into the box or something happened, and then the move would generally break down with Longstaff, not with Miggy. Miggy was doing a lot of the hard work and pulling it off quite well. Mixture of right foot and left foot, really energetic. I thought he was all right. I think he was very, very decent. Another two good performances on the trot and gets a 9.
Jack?
I give him a 9 as well. I mean, he's been solid for 2 games now, and it's really what we want to see from Miggy. You can see he's trying to use his right foot a lot more. Clearly, he's been training either behind the scenes or doing something on his right foot to extend his game to just that next level. And if he can just get there, like you said, Paul, he will be absolute class, and he will be around this club for years to come. But I think 9's a good score for him, and I think he's really stepped up his game in the past few weeks to prove Paul wrong.
Can I just mention one thing about what you guys are saying as well? I know I say people about finding a new gear for like Willock and Longstaff. I got no expectation for Almiron to find a new gear. I think he's 29 years old. I think this is kind of his level. I know he can possibly use his right foot a bit more and do some quite like immediate changes to his game, but I think this is probably his level, and I'm not going to be angry if he doesn't find another gear. I think this is perfectly fine if this is who he is as a player. He's
I don't mean another gear, Alex. I just mean use his right foot a bit more. Try and practice with his right foot a bit more.
Yeah, like little immediate changes, definitely.
Yeah. Ian says, I don't know how much you're going to be happy with this, Stato, but he says 6'5" Paul at 10, Hobbit Denial Stato at 10. Ginger Jack at 10 and Billy's Teeth at 10. So there you go.
You've literally seen me. You know I'm not a hobbit.
Well, I think you just wait. We still give you a 10, Alex. I mean, come on. That's like you rating somebody for, I'm going to give him a 10 because he had a hamstring injury. We'll not get into that again.
I've got 10 for them. They ain't part of me. It's a poxy bit of plastic.
Well, there you go. Jack says, great show. Please carry on over the summer. We will be, Jack. Don't worry about that. And Clarky, welcome to Members Club. I'm not sure if that's a renewal or a new member, but thank you so much, Clarky. Big part of the channel in the chat. Very witty and a good all-round good guy. So thank you very much, Clarky, for your continued support, buddy. Right, Julie J says it licked me face, Susan. Look, Susan keeps everything, so you're guaranteed that it's there somewhere. So I'll play it again. I'll unfortunately play it again next week on the season review, I guess. I'm sure the guys would like to see it for one. I think Billy found it particularly funny. But I've got some of them. Billy's fart is still kicking about. So, that is still there somewhere. Yeah, when it unexpectedly appeared from nowhere. And I'm sure we've still got Alex's Mac and Lachen at the start of the season. So yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff going on this year. It's been one hell of a ride. Right, we'll move to the other side. Alexander Isak. Alex.
I mean, if I've given Miggy a 9, I feel like it would be a bit weird to give Isak lower, but obviously we've just got, this is the thing with Isak, he's set a standard, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, we understand that Miggy's goal scoring run was a little bit, he was scoring some bangers that he's not going to keep up, whereas Isak set such a high standard. I'm going to give him an 8. I think I'm going to base his performance as a general and for his ability. I think it was probably an 8 for him. Yeah. He was out wide, but he was trying. I think it was a lot more interesting when Maxi came on. Despite that Wilson's obviously been a lot better recently. I think that substitution possibly could have come 15 minutes earlier. I think it might have helped us potentially. Mm-hmm. But no, Isak didn't do anything wrong. We got 2 XG. We did all the right things. Just sometimes it doesn't go in the net. It's one of those things with the post 3 times. This is what we've done this season. We'll have a few games where it just doesn't go in, and then we go and score 4, 5, 6, 4, and they all go in. Like, it's been so weirdly inconsistent. Hopefully next season we can just have a bit more sort of a level scoreline and get more points.
Yeah. James says, Toon Review gets a 10 out of 10 for me. Like, honestly, look forward to watching your videos, whether it's live or I catch up the next day. Always cheer me up, and the heated debates between Paul and Alex make me laugh. Well, you don't get that on any other channel. You don't get those kind of heated, passionate debates, and that's what it's all about. But one thing we never do is fall out. We don't agree most of the time. Well, most of the time, but it's what we're all about. So thank you. Jim says, what a great season we have had together on this channel. Absolutely awesome. And best show on YouTube. Love the Toon fam. Thank you, Jim, for your continued support as well. Thank you. Right, Billy, Isak.
I'm not a fan of him on that left wing, I've got to be honest. I think he can cause much more damage out in the middle. It's 3 men on him all times last night. And yet he got past them on countless occasions. Managed to get himself into the middle for his shot, which was well safe from Everson. I'll give Isak an 8 also.
There's a lot of, obviously we know the resemblances to Thierry Henry was seen throughout the season, but a lot of people are saying in there that on the left it kind of reminds them of Asprilla, kind of leggy and just incredibly skillful though.
I can see that.
Yeah.
But I think he's wasted out there. He's we brought him as a centre forward and we should be playing him there. And I know Wilson's been scoring goals. I just think against a low block, I think Isak would be more beneficial in the middle of the park against the 3 centre halves. I really do.
Yeah. I'm giving him a 7. I agree with Billy. I think he's wasted on the left, and I hope that's not going to be his position going forward, because I think when he plays up front, he's so dangerous. He knows where the net is. He can shoot from anywhere. And I just want to see him as I know it's a little bit harsh on Callum, given the goals that Callum scored this season. But I'd rather have Callum as an impact off the bench if that's the way it's going to be next season. So I'm looking forward to seeing where Isak goes next year as to scoring goals and taking his game to the next level as well. Jack?
I agree with Billy. He is a bit wasted. I mean, a few shots. Yes, he had about 2 or 3 shots, but he didn't have as many shots as he normally does playing up front. And he didn't really get too many chances on goal. I mean, he had one that forced a good save from Everson last night. But that was about it for me, Isak. I mean, technically he's brilliant, which is a strength for him being on the left. But apart from that, I mean, you don't see as much as you do as him on the up front. So I give him a 7, which is not normally what we rate him. But I do think it would be about time to move him back up front and to play either Maxi or someone else on the left, because I feel like Isak is better up front.
Yeah. Right, Callum Wilson, Alex. This is a difficult one because he didn't really get a lot of service, did he?
I'm going to give him a 6, but I feel like that's really harsh, because I felt the performance was better than a 6, but the 6 is based on what he gave us, which wasn't a lot. But 3 centre halves, enormous centre halves. They all played very well. To be fair, I know Fast fell over once, but apart from that, all 3 of them were very, very focused and disciplined, winning all the duels. Wilson was dropping into different positions, and you could see was really trying to make it work. It was just a real tough afternoon for him, especially when Samare and Didi dropped in, and you've got 5 of them there. Oh, you've got no chance. It's not that he's done anything wrong. It's just one of those games that's really tough for Wilson. It reminds me of that first game of the season against Forest, when they had an enormous back line of a back 5. And the only reason he scored is because he did a ridiculous little chip. You're not really going to score in a game like that unless you do something magical. So 6, but I feel like that is a bit harsh. He wasn't too bad.
Call Me Swift said Wilson looked gutted when he came off. He did, but I think that was more to what Alex has just said there. Just really frustrating night because he couldn't get into the game. I'm giving him a 6 as well, and I again feel that's harsh. However, he just wasn't in the game, but that wasn't his fault. Look, we know what Callum can do, and it's not going to be every game that you come up against a team that has Jolly Green Giants as the back, as 3 central defenders, and the whole team parking the bus. So it was just an unfortunate thing for Callum. Billy?
Yeah, he was never going to win a physical battle against 3 big centre halves and 2 CDMs in front of them, just playing as a back 8. Really, let's be honest. I think we needed more technical centre forward in the middle, which we've got with Isaac, but he wasn't playing there. Instinctively, he did get a shot that hit the post. He was very unfortunate with that. Just reaction, sticking his boot out. But yeah, I'm going to give him a 6 also. It's not really his fault either, because he was basically physical out the game.
Yeah. Lee said 6 for Wilson is rough, but he wasn't a 7 either. I'd give him a 6-10. Well, there you go. Jack?
I give him a 6 as well. I mean, strikers rely on service because that ultimately gets them goals, unless they just do something like a Messi-esque and then just take on the whole team and just be a magician, score a goal. But Wilson isn't Messi, is he? So yeah, he didn't get much service, couldn't get into the game, so I give him a 6.
Right. Who came on first as sub? I'm trying to think of the subs.
Was it Maxi?
Maxi came on first. So, Jack, what are you giving Maxi?
Maxi, he came on, made a little impact, had a few dribbles at some plays, but he wasn't very effective, so I'll give him a 7.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going with a 7 as well. I thought he did look lively, but nothing came off it. But 7 for me. Billy?
I think he needed more time on the pitch. I think he should have been on the pitch 15, 20 minutes before when it was apparent how Leicester was setting up. I think it needed a Maxi, and I think it needed more attacking players. So what he did with the ball was pretty good. I thought his passing was really good. I'll give him an 8.
Okay. Alex?
Yeah, I agree with Billy. I think he deserved an 8 for that. I think he was trying to make things happen. I think when it got to that stage in the game, it was when people started stopping on the ball. I think a few people had sort of, they thought, we've tried everything here and it's just not happening. There was a few times where Trippier and Botman and even Cher were sort of, they looked left, they looked right, they looked for people making runs, and they just stood on the ball because they just thought, where do I go now? And then Maxi came on, and obviously when Maxi gets the ball, he just runs. He doesn't care. He doesn't care what the plan is. Run. And then he recycled it. He made some space. Anderson got through once, trying to link it with Bruno. Yeah. I think he deserves an 8. I think he needed more time on the pitch. I thought he needed an extra 10 or 15 minutes on the pitch, and you never know.
The other subs was it Murphy and Gordon?
Yeah.
But I'm not sure they were on that long enough to get
late.
Yeah.
So it was. Maxi came on.
I think Gordon came on 86th. Or Gordon came on 86th, I think.
Yeah.
Murphy 77, Gordon 88.
Yeah, Murphy didn't really get into the game too much. So should we give Murphy an all-round 6, guys? Because I don't think he got into the game, and I don't think Gordon was on long enough.
No, that's fair.
Right, Eddie Howe, 10 from me. Billy?
10, just to get into Champions League. Sorry.
For the season, obviously it's 10, but for last night, I'm going to give him a 9.
Okay.
Should have made his attacking subs a bit quicker.
Yeah. Alex?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think a 9. I think he got the tactics spot on. I thought he's obviously prepped. He prepped perfectly for the game. He knew exactly how they were going to play, which is surprising because Leicester have they've not done that most of this season. They have tried to do a 4-3-3 or different variations of it, or a 4-2-3-1, and he pretty much knew they're going to come here and just close all the doors. And there was a lot of, we mentioned this on the commentary. There was that one situation from the corner where Cher stayed up, stayed on the right wing, and then made a run to the outside of the box and contributed and set up a nice little attacking move. And that's what you've got to. That's the kind of thing that Manchester City try and do sometimes to break a team down, because they expect movements from their obvious sort of attackers. It's how you create overloads in clever ways, and it's just so refreshing to see that we've got a coaching setup that's, they know what they're doing so much. Yeah. It's really, really cool.
Absolutely.
So yeah, 9.
Jack, I take it you're going with a 10.
Yeah. Why not?
Exactly. He got us into the Champions League, and that's what counts. But listen, it's a fantastic. Tyndall, Graham Jones, the whole backroom staff for me have been awesome. But we'll talk about them more in the season review next week. We'll do a Chelsea match review, and then we'll do the season review a couple of days later. Give us all time to sort of sit down and do our ratings and things like that. So we're ready to go on the show. That is it for the review for tonight. It's a great feeling being in the Champions League, guys. Thank you so much for spending your evening with us. Well over 1,000 people watching tonight again, which has been absolutely superb. So thank you very, very much for your company. Thank you to all your super chats and, of course, new memberships. And just thank you for sticking with us. We really, really do appreciate it. Do hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already, guys. I know we keep banging on about this thumbs up button and things like that. But we really do mean it. It does really help the channel. So before you go, do hit the thumbs up. And of course, if you're new, help us get to that 20K, guys. Hit the subscribe button and be part of this incredible community. We have absolutely wonderful subscribers who I am so pleased to call friends. They are just brilliant. And thank you to these three on here with us tonight. And of course, the mod squad. What a wonderful, wonderful bunch of mods we have on this channel. So thank you so much. John Sinclair's in the house, guys. Congratulations, lads. So proud of you guys. Evening, John. Hope you're well, buddy. Yeah.
He's probably going to come back going, what? I'm not John. Oh, he is John.
Who's that? There is only one thing to do before we go, of course. Billy will let you choose again, seeing as she's your girlfriend. So
Cheers. Let's go newfangled.
You want to go with a new one? Here we go. And of course, those of you that are new to the channel, Daisy is our mascot on the channel and not really Billy's girlfriend. There's a long story behind Daisy the cow, which I'm not going to repeat every single week. But if you're new to the channel, that is who she is. She's our channel mascot, developed over the months. Well, over the season, I guess, hasn't it? She's become very popular. But there you go, guys. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. There is plenty more shows coming up, so keep those notifications on so you know when we're going to go live or upload any videos. And the three of us will see you very, very soon. But in the meantime, have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you soon. Take care and good night.
How are the lads? Come on.
Come back and check out some green.